gods had given me almost everything. I had genius, a distinguished name, high social position, brilliancy, intellectual daring. I made art of philosophy and philosophy in art. I altered the minds of men and the colours of things. There was nothing I said or did that did not make people wonder. I treated art as the supreme reality and life as a mere mode of fiction. I awoke the imagination of my century so that it created myth and legend around me. I summed up all systems in a phrase and all existence in an epigram. Along with these things, I had things that were different. I let myself be lured into long spells of senseless and sensual ease. I amused myself with being a flaneur, a dandy, a man of fashion. I surrounded myself with the smaller natures and the meaner minds. I became the spendthrift of my own genius, and to waste an eternal youth brought me a curious joy. Tired of being on the heights, I deliberately went to the depths in the search for new sensations. Oh, people thought it dreadful of me to have entertained at dinner the evil things in life and to have found pleasure in their company. But they, from the point of view from which I as an artist in life approached them, were delightfully suggestive and stimulating. It was like feasting with panthers. The danger was half the excitement. I used to feel as the snake charmer must feel as he lures the cobra to stir from the painted cloth or the reed basket that holds it. They were to me the brightest of gilded snakes. Their poison was part of their perfection. What the paradox was to me in the sphere of thought, perversity became to me in the sphere of passion. Desire, in the end, was a malady, or a madness, or both. I grew careless of the lives of others. I took pleasure where it pleased me and passed on. I ceased to be lord over myself. I was no longer the captain of my soul and did not know it. There's only one thing left for me now. Absolute humility. Just as there is only one thing left for you, absolute humility also. You'd better come down into the dust and learn it beside me. I have lain in prison for nearly 2 years. Out of my nature comes a wild despair, an abandonment to grief that was piteous even to look at. Terrible and impotent rage, bitterness and scorn, anguish that wept aloud, misery that could find no voice, sorrow that was dumb. I have passed through every possible mood of suffering. But while there were times when I may have rejoiced in the idea that my sufferings were to be endless, I could not bear them to be without meaning. Now I find, hidden away in my nature, something that tells me that nothing in the whole world is meaningless, and suffering least of all. This something hidden away in my nature, like a treasure in a field, is humility. It is the last thing left to me, and the best, the ultimate discovery at which I've arrived, the starting point for a fresh development. Well, it has come to me right out of myself, so I know that it has come at the right time. Of all things, it is the strangest. One cannot give it away, and another may not give it to one. One cannot acquire it unless by surrendering all that one has. It is only when one has lost all things that one knows that one possesses it. Now that I realize it is in me, I can see quite clearly what it is I have got to do, what in fact I must do. And the first thing I have got to do is to rid myself of any possible bitterness of feeling against you. I want to get to the point when I can say, quite simply and without affectation, that the two great turning points of my life were when my father sent me to Oxford and society sent me to prison. I have got to make everything that's happened to me good for me. A plank bed and loathsome food, The hard rope shredded into oakum till one's fingertips grow dull with pain. The menial offices with which each day begins and finishes. The harsh orders that routine seems to necessitate. The dreadful dress that makes sorrow grotesque to look at. The silence. Solitude. The shame. Each and all of these things I have to transform into a spiritual experience. There is not a single degradation of the body that I must not try and make into a spiritualizing of the soul.